welcome on in to the live stream. How you guys doing out there? Good to see you. Glad you're here. The live stream. Whoa! What's up, people? It is Friday. We made it. We made it here on a Friday. We're doing great. Round out the week. Round out Unit 2. Here we go. Let's do it. I'm excited. People, one concept today. The concept should not take us very long. I should have most of you guys out of here by 2. If you need help, as always, I will be here till 2:30 to help you out. Could be a troublesome concept for a lot of you guys, but I think you got this. I think it's going to be easy for you. I think it's going to be easy. All right? It's one of those things that if you're not paying attention today, it's going to be really tough to figure it out on your own. All right? So make sure you're dialed in, you're paying attention. All hands on deck. Okay? Other announcements. Remember, 2.7 problem set is due tonight. Don't forget. And also, there's been a trend going on. You guys know what the trend is? You know what the trend is? Every problem set, I've had more and more people turning it in late. And I told Macro, I'm telling you guys actually are way better than Macro at completing your problem set. Starting next week, new week, if you turn your problem set in late, it's the same rules that applied in school, right? Now, virtual, I'm giving you 2 days opposed to 1, right? That's kind of like the grace, right? But if you turn it in late, it's half points back from whatever you completed. So if you do half the problem set, 5 out of 10, answer keys posted, then you turn your problem set in, 7.5. No better than 7.5, right? That is it. That is it. I don't want to hear any excuses, okay? But yeah. Oh yeah, attendance for today. Attendance today will be your favorite ice cream. Your favorite ice cream. And if you don't like ice cream, sorry to tell you, but you can pack your bags and leave. I'm just kidding. But if you don't like ice cream, favorite dessert. Favorite dessert. Be like, Mr. Moore, I don't like dessert. I don't know what to say about that. Hey, can we get the music turned off, please? I'm trying to broadcast over here. What's going on? Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right. You guys ready to go? Oh, there we go. We got some ice creams in the chat now. Cookies and cream definitely was the favorite from Macro. Another favorite was Moose Tracks. I'm blurry. Focus. Focus. I'm more blurry. What's going on? All right, anyway, so we got cookies and cream, vanilla, chocolate, Moose Tracks, Superman, Ariella, cookie dough, mint chocolate chip, fight me. Well, you got Cameron on your side. Superman, cookie dough, chocolate, devotion from Cold Stone. Micah, what is that? Superman, cookies and cream, pistachio. That's pretty cool, Nina. That's probably pretty good. Strawberry, mint chocolate chip, gang. Cookie dough, mint, no chocolate chips. I hate the chocolate chips. Chase, hey, who are you fighting, Chase? Chase, you go fight Red Boston. I think that's Jaden Jones. You go fight Red Boston. Go fight him now. Mint chocolate was a close second. Melted ice cream. Andrew Howley, classic chocolate. I like it. All right, cool. Let's get on in. Let's complete what we got to complete here, people. Let's get it done. And then we can chill, and then we can do show and tell, pets, Taha's parrot. All right, that's what we can do. Cool. All right, so people, seriously, get a little more serious now. This is the end of Unit 2. All right, this is it for Unit 2. All right, come Monday, Unit 3 begins. And do you remember how important Unit 3 was in Macro? The ADAS model. That's basically the micro equivalent on Monday, all right? So, you better be ready to go on Monday. You're not ready for the smoke. Square up, Chase. Oh, gosh. So, yeah, this is it for Unit 2. I'll say this. To do Unit 2 in a week and a half, virtually, that's credit to you guys. You guys have been doing awesome. You guys have been doing your problem set. It's been good enough to the point where I can move on to another concept, and I can really much appreciate that. All right, well, remember, Consumer 2 has been this. Or Consumer 2. Unit 2 has been this. It's been supply and demand and consumer choice. We're going to talk about consumer choice today. It's called utility maximization. And when I introduce macro, whoa! When I ripped your ears, if you guys have headphones in, I apologize. But in macro, I talk about utility. I kind of talk about this concept a little bit, actually. So you might recall some of this from macro, but not until when we get to the FRQ, that will certainly look foreign to a lot of you guys. Okay? The last concept. All right, a couple things to review. One, utility means satisfaction. Marginal means additional, right? Additional satisfaction. Utility, utils, is how we measure happiness, right? Measure satisfaction. And you probably haven't heard that since macro, right? Also, another thing, starting on Monday especially, you guys are going to do this a lot. You guys are, for the rest of the class, this class becomes kind of like the same thing, is you basically get really good at calculating totals and calculating marginals, right? Marginals from totals, and if you're given marginal, then convert that into totals, okay? So like this is like the first time you're exposed to it, and you're going to get really, really good at it. And that's why I think micro is really easy, is because so much of the test is just that. Total and a marginal, and then given a total, produce an average, right? Things like that. And you guys are all pretty much math gurus out there, which I know. Okay. It says, if I consume 0 slices of pizza, my total utility would be 0 utils, right? If I didn't consume pizza, I would have 0 happiness, 0 satisfaction, right? The satisfaction gain from eating 0 slices of pizza would be 0, okay? Should make a lot of sense. If I consume 1 slice of pizza, that first slice of pizza gives me 8 units of satisfaction, right? It gives me 8 utils. Sounds outrageous, but it gives me 8 units of satisfaction, however which way that's measured. If I consume that second slice, in total, I'm going to have 14 units of satisfaction, 14 utils in total. So, how many units of satisfaction did that second slice of pizza give me? Because that's what marginal means. Marginal means additional. So that first slice of pizza additionally gave me 8 units of satisfaction. And then when I had that second slice of pizza, I received an additional 6 units of satisfaction, 6 utils. So that's our marginal utility. We're going to calculate that here in a second, okay? Actually, let's do it right now. But hold on. Before then, actually, let's do it right now. So there's my marginal utility, right? Each additional pizza, this is how much each additional pizza gives me in terms of satisfaction. And I hope you guys can notice something here. Do you guys remember the law of diminishing marginal utility? We talked about that when we talked about demand. It's one of the 3 reasons why demand slopes down. It's because the more you consume of anything, the less and less satisfied you'll become marginally, right? Like if you notice, the more pizza I consume, I'm like increasing my total utility to the point where like I'm like throwing up from the 8 slice, like it gives me negative marginal utility. But like the reason people would consume, 6 slices is because every slice is giving me, positive utility. It's adding to my total utility. It's giving me some level of satisfaction. But the law of diminishing marginal utility states that the more you consume of anything, the less and less additional satisfaction you're going to receive, and it's evident here. The first slice of pizza is awesome, right? It gives me 8 units of satisfaction. The second slice, pretty cool, right? It gives me 6 units of satisfaction. The third slice, 5 units of satisfaction. So this is the law of diminishing marginal utility. We can see it. Another thing is, you see I said utility/benefit. Total benefit and marginal benefit is pretty much the same thing. It's not going to change your calculations. But benefit rather than utility, benefit's more so measured in dollars. Benefit's more so this like willingness to spend sort of idea. Utility is more so like level of satisfaction, but it's all going to be the same. So it says, how many pizzas would you buy if the price per slice was $2, right? I don't know if you guys have ever been to a pizza place where they sell by the slice, but there's one in East Lansing. I can't remember the name. But every time you want to buy a pizza, you buy it by the slice. So if each pizza costs $2, that's our marginal cost, right? The marginal cost in this case is constant, and it won't always be like that. But in this case, every time you buy a slice of pizza, the cost won't change, right? It's on the menu, it's like $2 a slice. So every time I buy a slice of pizza, it costs me $2, it costs me $2, it costs me $2, okay? The question is this. How many slices of pizza will this person consume? How many slices of pizza will this person consume? We have a cost, and now we have a benefit. And we learned a long time ago, people make decisions as long as the benefits outweigh the cost. If the costs outweigh the benefits, why would you do something, right? You wouldn't. So, the first slice of pizza gives me 8 additional units of satisfaction. How much does it cost me? It cost me $2. Would I do it? It gives me 8 units of satisfaction / benefits, so really I'm willing to pay $8 for this slice of pizza, right? Because it's also marginal benefit is what I'm arguing there. It gives me 8 units of satisfaction, and I can convert that into dollars, so I'm willing to spend $8 for that slice of pizza. Yeah, I would do it. If I value it at $8 and I only got to pay $2, you betcha I'm buying that first slice of pizza. The second slice of pizza costs me $2, of course, and I'm willing to spend $6 on it. It gives me 6 units of satisfaction. My willingness to spend, my marginal benefit is $6. Yeah, I would absolutely do it. I valued at 6 and it cost me 2. Yes. Third one, I valued at $5. It cost me 2. Yes. The fourth one, I valued at $4. It cost me 2. Yes. The fifth one, I valued at $2 and it cost $2. Would you do it? Yeah, you would, right? It's exactly what you valued at. You're willing to spend $2 for the slice of pizza. They're charging you $2 for the slice of pizza. Yes, you would do it. So we would consume all the way up to unit 5, right there. We will consume the answer to the question, 5 slices of pizza. We will not consume that 6 slice of pizza because although it does increase our total utility, it does give us 1 unit of satisfaction. Our total utility does go up, or we're more happy. It's just not worth the cost. My willingness to spend is $1. I value it at $1. It gives me 1 util, and it costs me $2. No way, Jose. I'm not buying that 6 slice. So the answer to the question, if this person's rational, right, and they're going to make decisions where the marginal benefit is equals marginal cost, they're going to eat 5 slices of pizza. People will never do things if the costs exceed the benefits, but people think marginally. They don't make decisions entirely. Okay, so that's our idea here. Whoa! So it says you will continue to consume until the marginal benefit is equal to the marginal cost. Once the marginal cost is greater than the marginal benefit, you're not going to consume it. All right, that's the idea. So what do we just do there? You saw me do calculate marginal utility if given total utility, but also if I turned around and did this, if I gave you these numbers, you would definitely be responsible to provide these numbers. Okay, if I gave you marginal, you know that if this number would be 14 because it's 8 plus 6. This additional one gave me 6 units of satisfaction, so this one would have to be 14 units. So just know that. And actually, that's probably how you're going to see it, right? Because it's a little bit more difficult. They're going to give you marginals, and you got to calculate totals. I'm going to give you 2 FRQs on the problem set today. I think it's like opposite. One time I give you totals, you got to calculate marginal. The other one I give you marginal, you got to convert that into totals. All right. Next part is this, right? So it says consumer behavior. You plan to take a vacation, and you want to maximize your utility based on the info below. Which should you choose? Remember, when you first start taking macro class, the first day we learned about content, I talked about how during the spring break, I was really between 2 choices, Florida and Breckenridge, Colorado, and I chose to go to Florida because my marginal utility per dollar spent was higher going to Florida than it was in Colorado. I don't know if you guys recall that. It's a long time ago. Excuse me. All right, so say I have 2 choices for destinations, right? Like my wife gives me 2 choices, right? And she's like, pick one, but I want to go to either of these 2 places, right? Tahiti, sounds pretty sweet, or Chicago. It's all right? And you can see that Tahiti definitely is much cooler, right? Like Tahiti rocks, right? I'm going to get 3,000 units of satisfaction for going to Tahiti. Chicago, I only get 1,000 units of satisfaction, right? Tahiti definitely gives me more happiness. It definitely gives me more satisfaction. It gives me much more utils. But of course, right, generally if something gives you more happiness, it's probably going to cost more. Tahiti, that trip costs $3,000, and Chicago costs $500. And the whole reason of doing this is people don't make decisions just based on what gives them the most happiness. People generally have budgets. People generally have scarcity, right? They have so much dollars they have, and they got to maximize the dollars that they have to give themselves the most utility, the most satisfaction, right? People can't just go to Tahiti because they like Tahiti. They got to have the money for it, right? So it goes to this. Where is the most bang for my buck? You're going to hear me say those words a lot today. Bang for your buck. That's what you're trying to do. If you're trying to maximize your utility, given some sort of income, You're trying to get the most bang for your buck, right? So how do we calculate that? It'd be marginal utility divided by the price. How much utility do I get per dollar spent, right? So the first one would be 3,000 over 3,000 would be 1 util slash over a dollar, right? Tahiti gives me 1 util every time I spend $1. Every time I spend $1 on that trip to Tahiti, I can expect to receive 1 unit of satisfaction back, whatever that would look like, right? Chicago, my marginal utility, 1,000 over my dollar spent, 500, right? It'd be 1,000 over 500, 2 utils slash over $1. I gotta fix that. Chicago is going to be twice as much bang for my buck. Every time I spend $1 on the Chicago trip, I'm going to get 2 units of satisfaction. So a rational thinker should choose the Chicago trip. And the whole point of this slide is that not only are we supposed to, maximize our utility, and we make decisions when marginal utility is greater than the marginal cost, we also have to weigh in how much money do we have, right? If we're comparing 2 different objects that are priced differently, like an apple and an orange, and an apple is $1 and an orange is 50 cents, or a trip to Tahiti is 3,000 and a trip to Chicago is 500, in order to get it in like terms, right, we have to calculate marginal utility per dollar spent, because that isolates that price. It gets rid of that price. Now we can see simply how much bang per dollar spent, how much bang for our buck do we get. In this case, we should go to Chicago. Even though it doesn't give us much happiness, it gives us more happiness per dollar spent. Okay? Believe it or not, people, we're almost done with the live stream here. We're almost done with the lecture, and I'm going to expect you to know how to do this, all right? So what we're looking at here is what an FRQ would look like, and I'm going to go over some of the questions that you would expect to see, and obviously I'm going to go over how do you find the things that we need to find in order to answer the questions, all right? It says utility maximization. So expect this. Expect to have 2 goods, or maybe like 2 services, but like 2 different goods. In this case, we're either going to go to the movie or we're going to go go-karting, or a combination of both, right? We're trying to have a lot of fun in a pre-COVID world, going go-karting and going to the movie theater. And we have so much money, expect that, right? You're going to have so much income, in this case $40, that's how much money you have to spend, and the 2 different goods are going to be priced differently, all right? So the number one thing I want you to do on your FRQ, which is going to be hard because you're not writing on them nowadays, you're going to run a notebook paper and do all that and then provide the answers in the questions. But the number one thing I want you to do is put the prices next to the goods, in the top corners, right? It says the price of going to the movies, and generally be written down there in the FRQ, the price of going to the movies is $10. So write that. The price of the movie is $10. The price of going go-karting is $5, okay? So going to the movies is a little more expensive than going go-karting, but if you notice, going to the movies gives me a little bit more satisfaction, right? So I'm going to have to weigh that in. Second thing to notice, right? Look at the table. What are they providing for you? Are they giving you total utility, or are they giving you marginal utility? In this case, I'm giving you marginal utility because it's a little bit more realistic on what they're going to give you on the AP test, right? Because it's a little bit more tough to convert marginal into total than it is total into marginal. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I have $40. I usually write $40 up here at the top. I got the price for the movie, I got the price for the go-karts, and then now what I need to do is calculate this, marginal utility per price, right? Let's just calculate total utility real quick. What's the total utility of going to the movies the first time? 30, right? What's the total utility of going to the movies the second time? It'd be 50. It'd be 50, right? Because the first movie gives me 30 units of satisfaction. The second one additionally gives me an additional 20 units of satisfaction. So if I go to the movies twice, altogether in total I'll receive 50 utils of satisfaction in total, right? So if they give you totals, you got to calculate marginal. And then once you have these marginal utilities, you have to calculate this, marginal utility over price. I can't tell you how many students calculate marginal utility and then they stop and then they start making choices. Okay, should we go here and then go here and then go here? You have to get MU over P, or else how else would you explain, or how else would you pick and choose between 2 different goods? How do you know the bang for your buck you're going to get? You can't just simply pick going to the movies because it gives you more utility than going go-karting. You have to weigh in the price, all right? So don't forget that, marginal utility over price. And if this says benefit instead of utility, it'd just be marginal benefit over price. It's the same thing. Benefit and utility mean the exact same thing, okay? Benefits measured in dollars, utilities measured in utils, but it's all going to be the same. Your math is all going to be the same. It's the same concept. So anyway, let's get to answering the questions. The first time I go to the movie, it gives me 30 units additionally of satisfaction, and it costs me $10 to go to that movie the first time. So my MU over P is 3. All right? In other words, it gives me 3 utils per dollar spent. 3 units of satisfaction every time I spend $1. So if you have to answer that, if it says, what is the marginal utility per dollar spent going to the movie the first time, you can't just write 3 in your effort. You get to write $3, 3 utils over dollars, right? 3 utils per dollar is what you would say. 3 utils per dollar spent. Okay, if I want to go to the movies the second time, that experience gives me an additional 20 units of satisfaction. Okay, that's the marginal utility. Generally, you're going to have to calculate that, but it's given to you here. Just calculate it from the total. It gives me 20 units of satisfaction. How much does it cost to go to the movies the second time? The same much as it costs to go to the first time. The movie ticket's $10. So, it gives me 20 units of satisfaction. I got to pay $10. I'm going to get 2 utils per dollar spent. 2 utils per dollar spent. The third time going to the movie gives me an additional 10 units of satisfaction. It costs me $10. I'm going to receive 1 util per dollar spent. Every time I spend $1, I receive 1 util for that. And then if I go to the movies the fourth time, again, you can see the law of diminishing marginal utility. Like, I don't want to see it the fourth time. I've already seen it 3 times. Not that willing to go. It doesn't really give me that much satisfaction. 5 over 10 would be 0.5. It gives me 0.5 utils every time I spend $1. All right, let's go to GoKarts, right? So GoKarts gives us different utility every time we go go-karting, and there's a different price. That's why we need to calculate MU over P, not just marginal utility. So, going go-karting the first time gives me 10 units of satisfaction. But going go-karting costs $5. So that first experience going go-karting, 10 over 5, is going to give me 2 utils per dollar spent. Every time I spend $1, I'm going to receive 2 utils for that. If I go go-karting the second time, I value it at 5. It gives me 5 units of satisfaction. It costs 5. It's going to give me 1 util per dollar spent. If I go the third time, 2 over 5, 0.4. You can put in fractions if you want. I like using decimals instead. 1 over 5 would be 0.2. So at this point, now we can start making decisions, right? Because we had 2 different goods priced at 2 different dollar amounts, but now that we calculated marginal utility per dollar spent, how much utility do we get per dollar? What's our bang for our buck? Now we can make decisions. If you had $40, where would you go first? Would you go to the movie theater first, or would you go go-karting first? Stay hydrated. You're going to go to the movies first, right? Why are you going to go to the movies first? Well, going to the movies the first time gives me 3 utils per dollar spent. That's much more bang for my buck than getting 2 utils per dollar spent. So what I want you to do is I want you to circle it. Today, when you guys get the FRQs, you're probably going to have to copy it down the table, kind of like you would in comparative advantage. Do all the work in there and then put that onto your problem set, okay? Very good. Red Boston. My man, Ethan, Abe, good job. Movies, right? We're going to go to the movies the first time because it gives us more bang for our buck. It gives us more utility per dollar spent. So what I also like to do, and I should have done it somewhere, is I write $40 at the top. That's how much money I have to spend, and then I cancel. I negate it every single time I spend money. So how much of the movies cost? $10. So how much money do I have left to spend? $30. Well, I'm gonna keep a little tab over here. Keep a little tab over here. 1 second. So now I have $30 left to spend. Do that, right? Put 40, cross it out, and then put your remaining money. Cross it out, put your remaining money, all the way till you get to $0. So now where am I going to go? Well, now it's tough, right? Now it doesn't matter. I can choose either because both go-karting and going to the movie theater both gives me 2 utils per dollar spent. It's the same. So it doesn't really matter. They both equally give me the same amount of bang for my buck. So I'm going to choose go-karting, right? You could have chose either. It doesn't matter. How much does go-karting cost? $5. See, the cost of go-karting doesn't matter there because we're simply looking at bang for our buck. So I spent 10. Now I just spent 5. Now I have $25 left to spend. Now where I'm going to go, for sure I have to go to the movie theater because going to the movie theater gives me 2 utils per dollar spent opposed to just 1 going go-karting. So I'm going to choose to go to the movies. And the movies cost how much? $10. All right, so now I have $15 left to spend. And I'm going to circle it, right? Circle everything. Keep your income going. Cross it out. Cross it out. Don't skip steps. Right? No mental mistakes. Now where do I want to go? I still have $15 to spend, and I want to spend it. I want to get as most utility as I can for that $40. I want to maximize my utility per dollar spent with that much money. So I'm going to go, go-karting next, right? Go-karting next. And go-karting costs $5. So now I have $10 left to spend. right? I could have chose going to the movies too. How do you really use this? If it feels subjective to put a number behind. It is, right? It's everyone's own value, right? It's like it's like on a scale from 1 to 10, or in this case, probably like maybe like a scale from 1 to 100. Like 100 is like the best experience of your life, right? It is all very subjective. You're totally right. But like this is how you can do things, right? Like if you're like I want to be between Michigan State and Michigan. I don't know which college to go to. What do you think in your mind is going to be your level of happiness going to Michigan and Michigan State? Michigan State would probably give you more utility. Just saying. And then over the tuition costs, and you could be like, well, going to Michigan or going to Michigan State is going to give me more satisfaction per dollar spent, so I should go to Michigan. It is all very subjective, right? We're just using it to explain a concept, just like anything, right? It's like very simplified, and obviously like the world's much more complex, but like that's a good point, Ballard. But like we're gonna keep it simplistic. All right, I still have $10 left to spend. I don't know if you guys have been following along. I still have $10 left to spend. I spent 10 on movies, 5 on go-karting, 10 on movies, 5 on go-karting, so I've spent 30. Where am I going to go next? I have to go to the movie theater. And look at that. We have exactly $0 left. And people, I'll give you a little trick. It's always going to be like that. Real quick, why did I go to the movies? Because one util per dollar spent, much more satisfaction, much more bang for my buck than 0.4 utils per dollar spent. So I'm definitely going to go to the movies, not going go-karting. So here's your little check, right? Those that like math, you probably like math because you can go back and check it, generally. It's the same thing in this FRQ. You should never get this FRQ wrong, ever. Why? Because like, if you don't use all of your income and it goes exactly to $0, you did something wrong. You should always exactly use all of your income. Furthermore, you should always use all of your income exactly, and these numbers have to equal one another. The utility per dollar spent on the last good has to be equal to the utility per dollar spent, consuming the other good. They have to be equal to one another. So like there was only 2 plausible answers here. It was either going to the movies 3 times and going go-karting twice, or going to the movies twice and going go-karting once. Those numbers always have to equal one another. Why is that? Well, hold on, real quick. To answer the question, the answer is 3 movies and 2 go-karts. I would go to the movies 3 times and I would go go-karting twice. All right? That's the answer to the question. But, so what if it says this? What if it says, this is your question, and then it says explain. Explain, right? And you're like, how do I explain like all this like madness going on up here? This is how you explain it. And this is why these numbers have to equal one another. And if they don't, you did something wrong, okay? Like if you ended with 2 and 0.4, you did something wrong, okay? Here's the rule. It's called the utility maximizing rule. And it basically works like this. The consumer's money should be spent so that the marginal utility per dollar spent of each goods equals one another. Because if it doesn't equal one another, that means you would continue buying more of the other good. Or you would have bought less of the other good, right? So for example, if the last utility per dollar spent on going to the movies was 2, and the last utility per dollar spent going go-karting was 1, I got to go to the movies more, right? Because I'm still getting more utility per dollar spent. I need to go to the movies more, and vice versa, or I should go to go-karting less. They have to be equal to one another. If they're equal to one another, then you've maximized your utility. There's no good that you should buy more or less of. They're equal to one another. The last apple gave you the same amount of bang for your buck than the last orange you purchased. That's the idea. And again, it kind of sounds silly, but hey. All right, so that's our equation, is this. Marginal utility of good A over the price of good A has to equal the marginal utility of good B over the price of good B. X, Y, A, B, doesn't matter. So let's go back to our problem here, right? So we said the answer to the question, to maximize utility, the amount of money we had, our satisfaction per dollar spent, the answer is going to the movies 3 times, going go-karting twice. My explanation has to include this. Don't miss points on the explanation. 1, put the equation in there. There's my equation. And instead of saying X and Y and A and B, I'm going to put the actual goods, right? M for movies and GC for go-karting. The marginal utility of going to the movies over the price of going to the movies, this is what we did in this column, has to be equal to the marginal utility of going go-karting over the price of going go-karting, right? Then put comma, the numbers, right? When we got this one, it was, the utility we got was 10 over 10, right? And this was 5, oh, sorry. Mr. Moore, what are you doing? 5, this was 5 over 5, right? Okay, and then 1 equals 1. That's it. That was so these numbers equal one another, so I know that I maximize my utility. This is the equation this is the utility maximizing rule. This is how I got these numbers, 10 over 10 and 5 over 5, 1 equals 1. Boom, 100%. It should be a very, very short answer. Going to the movies 3 times, going go-karting twice, equation, comma, 1 equals 1. All right? That's it. That's it, people. I want to do a couple other things though, just real quick, just to make sure you're good. Just always write the equation, mu over p. How are we going to remember to do mu over p in May? I don't know. You just have to remember. Like, in order to maximize my utility, I want to look at bang for buck. Utils every time I spend $1. Utils per dollar spent. Okay, you also may receive questions like this, and we kind of already did. I kind of jumped the gun. I got too excited. I kind of already went over some of these, but it says what is your total utility from going to the movies 3 times and going go-karting twice, right? So now that we chose that combination and we explained why we chose that combination, how much total satisfaction are you going to get? Well, here I got it highlighted here. Going to the movies 3 times in total is going to give us all of the satisfaction. The first time gives us 30, the second time gives us 20, the third time gives us 10. So all together in total, our total utility would be 60 from going to the movies. It'd be 15 for going to the go-karts, 10 plus 5. So in total, by consuming that number of goods, 3 movies and 2 go-karts, would be 75 utils. That is our total units of satisfaction received in total, is 75 utils. And then instead, how many utils would you get for going to the movies twice and going go-karting 4 times? Going to the movies twice would be 50, 30 plus 20. Going to the movies 4 times would be 10 plus 5 plus 2 plus 1, which is 18. 50 plus 18 is 68 utils. Okay? Our goal is to maximize marginal utility per dollar spent, not to maximize our total utility. We have to make decisions. Our money's scarce. We can't just make decisions to maximize our happiness, right? That'd be a really bad consumer. Think of a friend that just buys anything they can and they don't have the money to afford it, right? They're maximizing their total utility. You need to maximize your utility per dollar spent, is the idea, to be a rational consumer. All right, people, that is it. That is it. So do you know the utility maximizing rule? Do you know how to calculate marginal if given total? Do you know how to calculate totals if given marginal, like we did here? Do you know how to explain the utility maximizing rule using that equation? If you do all those things, you are good to go. That is it. Sweet. Look at that, people. I gave you 30 minutes to do the problem set in Google Meet. I'll see you in Google Meet all the way up until 2 o'clock. And after 2 o'clock, you can peace out, and I'll help those that need it the most. If you like the live stream, drop a like, subscribe, follow the channel. I'm just kidding. But, help a brother out, right? All right, I'll see you guys here in the Google Meet. You get a 5-minute break, 1:38.